Well, it was fun while it lasted for the most part, but it just goes to show you begin with a bang and end with an absolute whimper. What an absolute shambles. A confused lineup today, a confused performance from the boys, a typical scrappy goal, and yet no real urgency to try to get something out of it until it was too little too late. I'm really wondering whether the boys actually threw this game knowing that they might as well just say, sod it, let's give City the championship, let them have a title party at the Etihad and continue to, celebrate, and maybe it'll, cause them to, loosen up, and maybe it'll end their treble campaign. I don't know. But here's the embarrassing thing. Here's a stat from the BBC. An unwanted record for Arsenal. We were top of the table for 248 days in 2022-23, the most for a team that has failed to win the title in English top-flight history. We were 8 points clear at one stage, going along swimmingly, but with 2 wins in our last 8 games, we lost our form at the wrong time. And let's also put into perspective that when City drew against Nottingham Forest at City Ground, handing us an advantage, we were all cheering. This just sums up where we are now, and all I can say is, to any people out there who see it fit to misbehave and say, we shouldn't be bottlers, we should be proud of our season, behave yourselves, okay? There's more to a season than just the majority of how it goes. But anyway, without further ado, it's time to bring on everyone. And first of all, a big welcome to the big man himself, the man after whom this channel is named, Del Boy Gunner TV. Del Boy, I know you got to go out, but I'm so happy to have you back, and I'm going to welcome everyone in. What did you think of that? That was really horrible, I'm sure.
Oh, well, first of all, I'm deflated. Well, I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not really deflated. I wasn't surprised. I said on Warren's show earlier on today, I felt a draw. And next thing, I went on a booking app, and I had a €5 free bet. 4-1 Nottingham Forest were to win. €5. I'll have that. Thank you. I'm up 20 quid. I'm going out. I'll use that 20 quid to have a few more beers. You know what I mean? Because I'll tell you one thing. I knew well this team wouldn't beat Forest. Because I knew well the Forest fans would be really behind them. You know what I mean? And this Arsenal team shit themselves when they're under pressure. They can't handle the pressure. I've been saying it, fucking saying it, and excuse the language, but I've been saying there's no leaders to actually turn around and just go, forget the crowd. They're going to be on your back from the beginning. From the first whistle that goes. And no one was able to fucking do that. They shit themselves. And I'm not, like, as I said, I'm not surprised. It didn't surprise me. I put money on them to fucking lose. You know what I mean? And this is what you get. Where are we going to get? And I was talking to a guy, and he put a few comments in. I won't name his name and stuff like this on social media. And he says, oh, but Man City are an unbelievable team. I know that. No one here, I bet you no one here or no one in the chat is going to disagree with that. We have to play them twice to win a league. You have to play them. Everyone plays each other twice. You just don't lose at home. You try to win them at home. And please, God, you get a result in the Etihad and go out and win every game you can up to that. So it doesn't matter who City beat after that. You look after your own games. Look after the next game. The next game after that. That's all you have to do. It's not all you have to do, but you know what I mean? You take one game at a time. That's all. This team just... Let's look at Man City. Oh my God, they're an unbelievable team. So what? You know what I mean? It's just. It starts at the leadership. Arteta's the leader of the team. He's the manager of the team. You know what I mean? Did Edu back him in January? No, he has to come falling as well. I'm trying to be cool here. I'm trying to be cool. As I says, look, I am probably cool or not cool wearing this short. But inside, I'm raging. So, yeah, look, Manny, this is it. It's just the starting team, as you says, like Zach, and I've just seen the comment he put in there. He's 10 years of age, and he says, Dad, why is Tierney not starting at left back? You know what I mean? And I just says, Zach, I told you all along, this manager hasn't a clue. He hasn't a clue. And that team that he started was completely wrong. I'll let you get to other guys there.
Mate, listen, I have to say one thing, and I speak for all of us here when I say that it was just as well that he didn't start Bukayo Saka at left back, because he's done that before. And if he had done that, we probably would have been on a hiding to absolutely nothing. We would have conceded a few more goals. And one person I know, he's got his, picture. His picture perfectly says it. This man has to leave. It was funny how we got in a dog to try and increase morale, and they called the dog Win. A fat lot of good that did us, and then some. A very good evening to you, Warren. Please fire away. Let us know what's on your mind.
Well, it's just the inevitable, really, isn't it? I mean, we lost yet another end of season friendly today because, let's face it, that's all it was. It's all it was, and I've got something to point out as well. Last season, we went to West Ham and won 2-1 and effectively qualified for the Europa League after that victory. And then after that, we won one game at home to Leeds and then lost 3-0 to Spurs, 2-0 to Newcastle, which ended any hopes we had of getting Champions League football. Despite the fact that after that game at West Ham, we were ahead in fourth and clear. And this season, it happened exactly the same thing again. After the game of Liverpool, we'd effectively qualified for the Europa League. After that, we all know what happened. The team collapsed. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I do not think this club was ever at all interested in winning the Premier League title. The target for me was the same this year as it was last year, which was to get Europa League football. And we managed to get Champions League, but I'm sorry, but there is no desire for this club to be champions of this country. Absolutely none whatsoever. They're not interested. They had a target last season, like I said, of getting Europa League football, and this season it was Champions League. Once that had been achieved, they just gave up. They just packed in the bags and said, that's it, target achieved. We can chill out now. And that's why they keep capitulating at the end of the season. For me, it's simple. The man has to go. Arteta has to go. Edu has to go. The board has to go. The owners have to go. And 90% of the fan base have to go. We got a choice, people. Either the fan base unites and gets these clowns out, or those of us that actually care about the club go and form another club, and in 15 years go and spank their asses for them. Because that's the only way forward, in my opinion. Because this club is not serious. I said to Darren earlier, this club is not serious. From top to bottom, it's fake. It's absolutely fake. The whole lot of it is completely fake. Fans, board, senior management, and the owners. None of them are real. Not one of them. And they all need to go. I'm sorry. This is enough is enough. Failure after failure after failure. And it's been going on since before Arteta got here as well. It's just all the time we've got the Cronkies in control. This club, it will not achieve anything because they're allowing people to go along unchecked and just do whatever they want, and they haven't got a clue what they're doing, and they're making it up as they go along. The whole thing is an absolute shambles. And the only reason we came second this year was because all our main competitors all collapsed. They all collapsed. But I'm telling you, next season it won't be like this. we will struggle to qualify for the Europa League next season. I'm telling you that now. That is my prediction. Next season, we'll finish 7th or 8th again. Because this club's not serious. It's not. It's a fake thing. It's a fake club and a joke club. All you have to do is look at what's happened over the last 24 hours with this business of him buying a dog for the club and bringing in olive trees and God knows what else. What is this man doing? What is wrong with him? He's brought in so far light bulbs, dogs, olive trees, guns. What is the matter with him? He's absolutely useless. And I'm telling you now, he is the worst manager in the club's history. Absolutely useless. And whoever appointed him should hold their head in shame. Hold their head in shame because he's destroying this club.
Warren, what's going to happen when he gets the fucking sack? Where does the poor dog go? Does he go with him, or does Edu have to?
Oh, mate, I'll be happy if he gets the sack tomorrow.
Mate, if he gets sacked, there will be people crying. There'll be demonstrations, and I'll tell you this, right? When he gets sacked, the next manager that we appoint, let's say we were, for the sake of argument, we go and get Jose Mourinho. And the reason I'm picking Jose is not because necessarily I want him, but I want to show how ridiculous this fan base is. If we go and appoint Jose Mourinho, okay, the fans will turn on him because it's not Arteta. This is exactly what happened when Emery was appointed. They turned on Emery because it wasn't Wenger. And this cycle is going to continue, right? And, mate, it's got to stop. It's an absolute shambles. I really wish that the fans, when they sack Arteta, hopefully they will. But I can't see it. I don't think they're going to sack him. I just think they'll go, oh, well, you did well. You got a second. Well done. That's a success. No, it's not a success. And they will go, I've heard people saying already, we go again next season. So we got another season of this absolute shit show and nonsense. Because it is. I'm sorry, it is. So I'm going to let someone else speak now. I've been going on way too long.
You know the way, can anyone here even in the chat or whatever? Can you guys see would he get sacked next season, or is this the long haul? Because if he gets sacked, we'd say November time or something like that, or October, November after an awful run of games. That means our whole season for the next year is ruined. So we have to wait another fucking year of this roundabout that's going on. Why can we not do things right? Because I guarantee you, if we had another 10 or 15 games to go, we would not get Champions League football. And it's because Man United are kicking into gear. I know Liverpool drew today, but they came back, whatever. But they started to get a bit of momentum as well. They're clubs that would pass us out. Newcastle would pass us out. That's my opinion. Darren, what you're shaking your head there, agreement or disagreement? What's your sort of take on it, mate?
Yeah, before we get to Darren, I think I want to just highlight this comment over here. Must go in an hour. I'm praying David O'Leary has a P45 at the ready. And I think this pretty much sums it all up, because the way things are going, Arteta certainly won't be sacked after this season. I think if history helps us, Del, I mean, the last time we lost a manager in the middle of the season, we went on to end the season with a trophy. But the fact that it was Arteta who fluked that trophy doesn't really fill us with much confidence. But Darren, if you can answer Del Boy's question, I mean, I think you said it some time ago that next season could be a watershed. Do you still believe that next season could be a tipping point?
I'm really excited for next season, because that's when we can start getting into Arteta again and hoping he's going to make mistakes. And let's hope he gets a few defeats under his belt early doors so we can get a shot of him as soon as we can, really. I mean, today was a great example of the bloke is experimenting again. Tony Adams on Sky said at half time, he just didn't get it. Party at right back, left back, Granit Xhaka. What? And these players, although it was never going to be a motivationally easy game to get up for today because we all know we're out of it, right? But you've still got to have some solidity, stability, consistency, and Arteta hasn't got that. He don't know his best team. He's still piss balling about with his squad team. And let's be honest, when you're bringing people like Vieira on from the subs bench, you've got no chance whatsoever. And I'm harping back to something I said on Jez's channel yesterday. The shocking state this club is in when you see Ramsdale cuddling his manager, getting a new contract, cuddling him, not a firm handshake and business-like gentleman's game, the Arsenal, Bank of England, old football club. That's gone. That's dead and buried, right? Now we've just got like a shambles, as Warren said, of a football club. And this is after Ramsdale, effectively, you could argue, has ended our title race by kicking the ball to a striker whilst we're right in the middle of a title race. Did you ever see Jens Lehmann do anything like that? Did you ever see David Seaman do anything like that? Seaman got lobbed from the halfway line. That was his only crime.
Really?
Jens Lehmann rushed out a goal in the Champions League final, but that's because he gave a shit and he had a professional mentality about him where he wanted to do well, not just daydreaming and acting the clown and fist pumping and winding the opposition crowd up and all this. Ramsdale needs getting hold of and told. Any more mistakes like that and you're out, sold, gone. I want to see him gone, out. And this dog is a nonsense. It's a distraction that Arteta's brought in because he knows the heat's on him. He's bottled it. He's not won a trophy again. So he brings a dog in thinking everyone's going to be fooled by it all and the ha-ha and it a big joke. And our fan base are singing stupid ole, ole, ole songs when we're 1-0 down away at Forest. We just bottled the league. Well, they remind me of a load of Waco massacre victims from America in the 80s.
Yeah.
When you've got like a bloke who's got a religious cult who's got in somewhere and they've all followed him. And our fan base are like a Waco massacre victim group. And they're the victims at the end of the day because they're going around saying that we're this and we're that, and we're not. And every other club in the Football League is just pissing themselves laughing at us. We're the entertainment. We're the new Newcastle of 5-6 seasons ago, right? So these fans, can we educate them? I'm trying at the moment to educate these people, but they don't want to know. And the reason why they don't want to know is because people like us who've supported the club for a long time used to go to Highbury and knew what it was all about. Well, when we went from Highbury to the Emirates, a lot of people said, I'm not going to the Emirates anymore. So then you would hope the new breed of fan that comes in would carry on the traditions of the Arsenal way, fight to win, play to win, be grounded, don't get overexcited about things and keep on an even keel and remember who you are, what you are and who you represent, David Rocastle, yeah? Any of them fans sticking to them, that ethos today at the ground or over the season? No, they're not, because they're just clueless idiots. So I'm very much looking, I can't wait for Wolves to be played, get out of the way. Then I'm looking forward to next season because Arteta's got a lot of work to do. He's got a mountain to climb because I'm telling you now, these players, some of them have got a too big opinion of themselves. None of them are world class. I don't look up to any of these players and think what great players they are. I don't. I have done with a lot of Arsenal teams, but I'm sorry, this team don't do it for me. And, this is probably the lowest point as an Arsenal supporter that I've probably ever had. I'd love to see us get mid-table next season, get rid of Arteta. I'd rather see us make a terrible start to the season, be mid-table next year, get a decent manager in, get rid of a load of players, bring some players in, start again the season after that, rather than Arteta get another season where he fucks it all up, messes it all up, right? And then this time next year, we're questioning. Oh, should Arteta be sacked? Should he be sacked? No, I want him out the door immediately.
Yeah, but I think it's fair to say that we all know the situation. We all know the score. As long as the Cronkies are in charge, the fish will always rot from the head down. They're the ones who are going to see that Arteta stays in the job, at least for some time. It will take a horrible season for any change to be made. And bear in mind, in Arteta's first full season, we were 15th at one point. 15th! Close to a relegation fight. And somehow we managed to recover because he was given some confidence. Mind you, if Theo Walcott had managed to score another winner at the Emirates that day for Southampton, that draw was probably what saved Arteta's job that time. And this draw this season, when he also scored, could very well be what's cost us the title. And of course, last year, Nottingham Forest knocked us out by the same scoreline in the FA Cup, and we all saw the Amazon Prime video of the All 4-0 documentary where he was talking about the standards. Well, you know what, Mr. Arteta? These are your standards that you brought today, your lineup mainly, and also the players that you put out today have shown that they're not good enough. Xhaka left back was utterly ineffective, and you deserve to lose. You deserve all the criticism you can get. We're now going to come to the Wexford Express, Mount Walsh himself. I know you're continuing to hurt, but again, this is the time for belly aching. Take it away, my good sir.
First of all, good evening to you all legends in the panel and the chat. And I got a few things to say. The last stream that we done, I read one comment that was put in about how negative we are. And the person don't understand why we're saying what we're saying. That Man City are a great team. We were 8 points clear of this Man City team. We could have won this league title this year. We should have won the league title this year. That's not just us in this panel talking about this. I heard Tony Adams, possibly the greatest captain this club has ever had, at the very beginning on Sky Sports. And he said, before I done this programme, I thought we were going to be chasing down the title and not handing it to Man City. It's about time a legend came out and said the truth, because that's what we've just done. We've also proved to the world that we don't have a pair of balls amongst the whole fucking squad. And I'm looking at yokes about dogs coming into the club. This is a club I'm supporting 38 years, and I'm talking about dogs. Are you kidding me? Did George Graham bring a fucking dog in 1989? 1991. The fucking Wenger. No, it's the truth. The whole thing is a shambles.
I think the dog ate his fucking phone there, but
people ringing me there. Fuck.
Yeah.
This is a shambles. We go to there. What's the story with Party right back? When was the last time he played right back for the team? Shaq left back. I told you all, no one fucking listened. Jesus was just not good enough for this club. He's not going to win you anything. I'm fucked up saying the same thing about Saka. Everyone is saying he's world class. Where has he been for the last 8 weeks? Nowhere. I'm sick listening to people saying Odegaard is the next Dennis Bergkamp. Would you fuck off? This is a shambles. And let me get something straight. And let me get something out there. And this is a fact. This squad, this club, under this management, under these owners, with that squad of players, we're going nowhere fast, Manny. We are going nowhere fast. And next season, let's see what's going to happen. Because I'm going to sit back and I'm going to laugh. Because then maybe people might start waking up and realising that we're all right in what we've been saying all this length of time. It's embarrassing. What I watched today is embarrassing. Embarrassing. Fucking joke. I'm sick of it. Nottingham Forest went out there today to play with heart, determination, fight, because they knew they had to survive. We were going to win the Premier League. Where did I see the fight, determination, and heart for the last 8 weeks? Fucking nowhere. And then they call this dog Wing. That's the name of the dog, Wing. My question is, Wing fucking what?
Win fuck all.
It's embarrassing. The club is embarrassing. And I see people there on Instagram, their messages coming in on my phone. And someone's just had to put in that James fella off FTV has just come out and he's just after saying, this is the beginning of a journey. James, question for you, my man. What fucking journey? It's the end of the club as we know it. But that James fella's probably only 20 years of age. What the fuck does he know? We've seen them in Highbury. We've seen the history. We lived through it. And look at the shit now that we're living through. And people are saying that we're fucking about.
Look, his phone's ringing there now.
And people are saying that we're embarrassing. What the fuck? Fuck off the whole lot of you. I'll tell you the truth, shambolic. We'll keep this little fan base of ours that knows the truth, that knows the facts. We'll keep shouting from the rooftop. On the change of start. On the change of start happening. Until then, don't want to hear nothing about it. I'm fucking out of here. I'm going because I'm fucking livid. I thought this all again. I'm out of here. I can't do this. I'm fucking hurting. Fucking bastards.
Okay, sorry about that, Kyle, but we will see you again soon. Please do subscribe to Kyle Walsh's channel, Kyle Walsh Gunner. You will get a lot of terrific videos from him. He speaks from his heart, shoots from the hip, and what you see is what you get with him. Proper fan. And of course, this comment over here pretty much sums up the Arteta in mentality. You lot didn't think we'd be top 2 in the league. It wasn't predicted. We just don't like bidding off cups. Of course we don't like bidding off cups. Trophies are trophies. And no serious team will ever have an idea of letting a trophy slide because we have bigger fish to fry. And that is why Manchester City are aiming for a treble this season. Gemma, good evening to you, darling. How are you this evening? Thank you for coming back and thank you for waiting. Sorry for keeping you for so long. How did you despise that performance today? Because you didn't enjoy it, I'm sure.
One word, shit.
As succinct as you can get. So please tell us, what did you hate about the lineup? What did you hate about the performance? Any players in particular left a bad taste in your mouth? Let us have it. We're all here.
Well, it was mostly like they had basically they could have scored because I was watching it on Khan's phone. And they could have, there was times where there was no one around and there was just the goalie and the player, and they could have scored, but it was just they were passing it backwards.
Gemma, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, loud and clear. Keep going, keep going.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying, they had chances where they could have scored where it was just the goalie and the player, but then they didn't. They were passing the ball backwards.
No sense of urgency there. And I think Gabriel Jesus trying to win a penalty by diving and completely mucking up in the penalty box. It summed everything up for you, didn't it?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear Darren talking about next season, how we need to. He hopes that we have a dreadful start because that could be the start of the fans turning on Arteta. And of course, next season, Warren said that we will struggle to qualify for even the Europa League at this rate because the other teams are going to come back with a vengeance. What do you think will happen next season?
I'd say probably get kicked out of the Champions League as soon as they get in there, really.
Yeah, and we all just know that when they get kicked out of the Champions League, they go on a Europa League run, everything will be well, and the cycle will continue. I think somebody has to make it clear that the Emperor has no clothes, and yet we've even got fans of Warren's and Darren's and Jez Collins' ages who also support this manager. I take a look at this comment over here. Arteta's still in for you, Chris. I respect your opinion.
It's because they've got mug on their forehead, that's why. They're stupid. They're too blind to see that he's a dickhead.
Well, I mean, stupid might be harsh, but I think they have been blinded, perhaps. And here's another comment like here, Arteta has to be sacked tonight. One thing I will say right now, He should not be in the running for Manager of the Season award. Give it to someone like Eddie Howe or Unai Emery. Emery, in particular, has taken Aston Villa from near relegation to potential European qualification. It might be the Conference League, but that's still not small potatoes. At least I might have a better chance of winning it than West Ham this time around. Gemma, thanks a lot for coming. And if you stay on, we will come back to you. But Central, good evening to you, son. You obviously did not enjoy that game.
Nope.
And what did you hate about the team? What did you hate about the performance? And what do you think will happen next season?
Okay. Yeah, I saw the game, and it's already like the title race is already over. Like, yeah, it was boring. We didn't feel like scoring, and congrats to Man City for winning the league. It's just like, man, this is like first off, I think he's playing. First off, no, Tierney's on the bench. Why you put him on the bench for whatever reason? I don't know why I'm to Zinchenko. Why he's not playing as a midfielder beats me. He's playing off that formation, like Arteta put out. That is actually bizarre. And they don't give the players of this game didn't really give a shit about this. They don't really give a shit. They just care about looking for their holidays. It's like, man, I can't wait for. We've got 1 week to go. 1 week to go until the season ends, man. It's like, man, it could be something special, but instead, it's the same old Arsenal season. Qualifying for the Champions League, a competition that we're never going to win. It's just like, man, this is never going to end. They just they're gutless. They don't give a shit. They just don't give a shit, man. It's like, the ball jobs, Arteta, man. I think this dude, I don't know, man. This is like, man, I think this dude's gonna get sacked. Maybe it has to be next season, man. If we're not in the same position as this season, like in another chance of a title race, if we're about, I don't know, 6th, 7th, 8th, crash out in the Champions League in the group stages without any European football, not like get like third place, you get into the Europa League. No, just crashed out in Europe and crash out in the early stages of the FA Cup and the League Cup. Gone. It's been 4 years, like 3 going on 4 years without winning a trophy. Like, I don't know what this process is all about, and this whole thing about buying the dog, that is bizarre. Our nickname's the Gunners, not the Dogs. What? I don't know what the hell. Like, I don't know what drugs they're taking. It's just like this is not a football club, man. This is like a. This is a football version of the police academy. That's how I describe Arsenal is. It's just the police academy. It's not, or Ted Lasso, or like I'm gonna say Arteta is like he's Mike Bassett, man. A mixture of Mike Bassett and Ted Lasso. He has no clue. He has no Scooby Doo. Wearing that black t-shirt, not black t-shirt, black jumper as usual. It's like, wear a suit. Just wear a suit. You don't have to wear like a fancy suit. You just wear like a white shirt, red tie, black coat. That's it. It's not rocket science. You don't have to You don't have to dress up like Pep Guardiola, man. Jesus Christ, It's like he's trying to copy like Pep. He's just like the B or the C or I call it the F Tech Pep, because he's not like Pep. He's not Pep Guardiola. He's trying to be something he's not. Like, yeah, the first and second half, did not turn up. Like I said, care about their holidays. Can't wait for the season to end, man. It's frustrated. It's boring. It's the past few weeks, it's been boring. Losses, draws. We had an opportunity to have 11 points. We're 8 points top, and now we're just throwing the league like that. We've got to be the biggest ball jobs in Premier League history. Not like 19 going on 20 years without winning the title. Man, that's just like despicable, man. Like this club is a cash grab of is the qualifying for the Champions League is just a cash grab. We're not going to win it. It's just a cash grab, you know. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. Otherwise, this rant's going to last about 5 a.m. But we don't have, you know, I'm trying to keep my rants short and simple. Anyway.
Yeah, and I will pass this back to Del Boy. And obviously, what you said there, 19 going on 20 years Central, is obviously, you know, interesting, because I do seem to remember Jez Collins talking in an earlier stream of ours, Del, about how other teams like Manchester United and Liverpool have had even longer gaps without winning the league. I believe it was 26 years for Manchester United, 50 years for Liverpool, and that's sort of the way it went for them. But no, not 50, 30 years, if memory serves me right, because they last won in 1990 and 2020 was when they won. But in between, United and Liverpool were able to win some other titles, including a few pieces of European silverware, whereas between the Invincible season and now there's some upcoming season, all we've won are a few FA Cups. And our last title win was at Highbury. So much for moving to the Emirates to challenge the big clubs and so forth. It's been an absolute, we were sold a dream and given a nightmare, as it were. And it's we were promised a feast and we've been given a famine. It puts a famine to shame, really. But if we could, one thing which can be said, and I'm going to go to this particular comment from Chris Mossing. Been a fan since 1984. Obviously seen the Graham successes. If you cannot see our upward trajectory, that's not my fault. And that's really typical of a lot of these Arteta fans who are going to talk about an upward trajectory. And obviously, you know, when you go from 8th to 5th to 2nd, it will be an upward trajectory. But nothing is guaranteed in football. And this was a season, as we've all pointed out, you know, where we could have won and we should have won. And we all agree. I might want to start by asking you, Del, where do you think things went wrong? Because Nottingham Forest actually was a turning point, because City went there and drew, and they handed us a 2-point advantage after we gave up an earlier 8-point advantage by losing to them at the Emirates. And then everything was going so swimmingly. Where do you think we lost it? Any one particular point come to your mind?
Straight away, when you were just sort of saying that, for me, look, Saliba, the injury and stuff like that, I'm not having that. The Xhaka getting the Anfield fans wound up, for me. I'm just trying to. I have loads of things in my head I want to say, but he wound the Anfield fans up, and our, let's say, end to the last season, where we bottled all our last few games. We had to go to Newcastle. We got slapped, the last few games of last season to get into the Champions League. And that just told me, and I was there, oh shit. We were in a winning position in Anfield. We bottled it. They came back and they should have won the game. You know, and I started to think to myself after that game, I says, is this going to be now we're walking on eggshells, we're shitting ourselves, we're getting nervous, stuff like that? Is this what the season is going to come down to? And it did. We went on, the next games was a Southampton, West Ham. You know, it went from there. And I think after the Liverpool game, I wasn't convinced the season was over, but I was convinced that, there's something not right here, you know. And it's sort of going back to even today's game and the first few comments I even said about leadership. We need this leadership. I don't know where we're going to get. I don't have the answer. I'm just looking for it. We need someone to settle down, like settle the players, the younger players or whatever. You're in Nottingham Forest today. Like, chill out, relax. The fans can't come on the pitch and attack you. Just keep the head, keep the ball, move it around, do what we do. But no, it's just the players think the fans are going to come on and attack them. Shit themselves. There's no leaders in the team, you know. And like next year, you guys were just talking about, we'll get into the Europa League. I personally don't think we're going to get in the Europa League, because I think we're going to finish bottom of our Champions League group, and we're just going to be out of Europe. That's what I personally think. If we do get in the Champions or into the Europa League, if we go down into the Europa League, and if Shamrock Rovers, I'll be going to the games. And guess what? AFTV? You'll be in my fucking back garden. Then we'll have a fucking chat. That's what you'll be on my fucking rules then. Then we'll have a fucking chat, a fucking serious chat. because I'm sick of this fucking channel. The shit that they're fucking saying. And the comments, like, my phone's hopping here. People, like, you know, good comments, bad comments and shit like that. I've leather skin. I can take it all. I don't give a bollocks. But half the fucking bullshit that these clowns are fucking saying about our club, they should be fucked out of the fucking ground and not let near it. They're there standing by Tony Adams' statue and they're fucking around with it. I'm sorry, I'm getting fucking heated here, but it just boils my fucking blood because I love this club. I've been supporting it since 1989. You know what I mean? And, you know, people turn around, oh, we're doing this and we're doing that. Can you not see? Well, hold on, mate. When have you been fucking supporting the club? Have you been supporting it through thick and thin? Because I fucking have, and I know what it's fucking like. And this leadership, this management, Edu Arteta haven't a fucking clue. You know what I mean? Warren said it earlier on. He said about Man United, Liverpool, fucking Chelsea. You know, they haven't been at their top form this season. Let's be honest about it. You know what I mean? Because if they fucking were, we would be nowhere near second. Nowhere near it. I think we'd probably get sixth. You know what I mean? An upward trajectory. I understand what you're saying. But I cannot see it. I absolutely cannot see it. You know what I mean? I'll agree with Darren what he says. I think it's hard for me to want the club to lose. I can't do that. But I think it's going to be a tough season next season. I really do. And I think I'm feeling it now. I'm feeling the fan base splitting. I think from the last two games, or I think it was the Southampton game, I felt that the fan base, we were at a stage, we were sort of gelled together, but now we're separating it. And this AFTV are fucking wedging the shit out of this fucking fan base. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, we all slag each other, we all call each other names and stuff. You're mad, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. That's grand. I'm not saying I know what I'm talking about. I'm only a fucking idiot from Dublin, and I'm the first one to put my hands up at that. But Jesus Christ, I'll tell you one thing. I want this club to do well. I don't care if the manager is the fucking dog. If he's pulling results in, if he's fucking getting what we want, grand. But we are now going to look back at this time, okay? Don Carleone is available. You know, he's gone. Real are going to sack him. He'll be available in the summer. That's when we should pounce on him and just get him. See what will happen. Because we're on this Arteta love train for how many seasons now. We were promised Champions League to be lifting the Champions League. That didn't happen. We're only getting into the Champions League. You know what I mean? We're off of titles. As we said, we moved into the Emirates. Titles and stuff like that. That hasn't happened. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm gonna have to rock. The dance floor is calling me. Thanks a million for everyone for hitting in the comments, subscribing to the panel here and all that sort of stuff. Please subscribe if you don't mind and hit a like as well. I really do appreciate it. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Take care. I have to get me dancing shoes on and I'm off.
Yeah, shake a leg, Del boy. You know the dance floor's calling you. Dance your troubles away, mate, and we'll see you again soon. Also, big up to Stephen Stubbs, better known as the Statman, who's just come in with a comment. You know how difficult it is coming up against Manchester City. You could finish 10 points behind them. Stephen, nothing but love for you, mate, and I hope that we can get to chat soon. But the biggest issue that we've got right now is that obviously as a team, we were well ahead of them. And City were absolutely poor in the first half of the season. I don't know whether that was because most of their internationals had an eye on the World Cup, but they were performing horribly well. We had our chances to hammer home our advantage, and we couldn't take them. And obviously, a turning point was ironically when we came to Anfield, and as Del mentioned, Xhaka wound up TAA, and your lot got fired up. You got an equaliser, and you could have beaten us had Salah's shots on goal been a little bit higher beyond Ramsdale's outstretched fingers. So we are disappointed, and such as the drop-off from being 8 points ahead to now potentially, finishing about 8 or even 10 points behind City, as you said, we have to ask questions here. This isn't a title-winning team, and for all the talk about upward trajectory, we have bottled it, so we can't be served rubbish and have people call that a roast dinner. But Warren, I'm going to ask you the same question. I think Del mentioned that the Liverpool game with Xhaka once again being Xhaka and doing Xhaka things and making a shacking fool of himself. pretty much was a turning point. Would you agree with that, or was there another game which made you realise, we're not going to win this league? Because I'm thinking it might have been some time before that.
Mate, I never thought we were going to win the league because I don't think this man is capable of doing it. There was a brief spell for about 3 days where I thought, yeah, okay, he's doing a fairly decent job, right? But at the beginning of the season, we were sat there and we were doing like a review of the signings or something like that. Anyway, it was a stream I was on right at the beginning of the season. I remember people asking whether we thought that Arsenal would win the league with Arteta. And I said, listen, the biggest problem I've got with him, well, one of many problems I've got with him, is that if we're going into the last couple of games of the season and we're in a chance of winning the title, I can guarantee you he will pull off some mad-ass tactical ploy to try and get us over the line, and it will backfire. It will backfire because he is tactically clueless. He hasn't got a clue. He's making it up as he goes along. Right? The proof of that is he's done it several times. Right? We went into Europa League semi-final against Villarreal when Unai Emery was managing them. And he went into the game, played a false 9. Right? We then came to the second leg. Right? We're trailing them to them on aggregate. We need a goal. So what does he do? He takes off the club's leading goal scorer and he brings on a guy who hasn't scored for months to replace him. Fast forward to today, he's got the world's best left back, in my opinion, sitting on the bench, who, in my opinion, and I know this is going to upset a lot of people, right? He is discriminating against him on the basis of his religion. I'm sorry, but he is. The man is... You have to look at his playing career. Arteta. He played for Rangers. Tierney played for Celtic. The only reason that guy is not playing is because he doesn't like him. Simple as that, right? Tierney's sitting on the bench. You've got a probably one of the best central defensive midfield players in the world playing right back. On the other side, you've got a guy who is a centre back who's played now and then at left back and CDM as well, right? And he's played at left back. And yet you've got probably arguably one of the world's greatest left backs sitting on the bench. What is he doing? The man hasn't got a clue what he's doing. And anyone who thinks that he's doing a good job and going on about upward trajectories, I'm sorry, but you're talking absolute nonsense. Nonsense. 8th, 5th. Oh, sorry, is it me or is this just complete madness? Yes, it's upwards in terms of league position finishes, but is the club any better than what it was when he was appointed? I don't think it is. He spent £500 million and we can't even sustain a title challenge. And I'm telling you now, if this team that we've got today was playing in the Premier League in the early 2000s, it would have been relegated because the standard of the league has gone through the floor. It's not the same level. It isn't. You look at the teams that were playing in the Premier League then. Arsenal, we had world-class players all over the pitch. Man United did as well. I'm sorry, no. It's just an absolute shambles. The whole club, top to bottom, as I said earlier, is completely fake. It's a joke thing. None of them are serious. They're just going there, picking up the wage, and oh well, second, never mind. We'll go again next season. It's a success. And all this nonsense about him having inherited a mess. Well, that mess managed to get to a Europa League final and finish off 3 points off third with about £50 million worth of backing. He's had 500 million and he can't even sustain a title challenge. No, I'm sorry, man. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And he's never, ever going to win anything as a manager. And I'm telling you now, if he does get sacked by Arsenal, he'll never get a top level job again, right? And when will it happen? If he gets sacked, which I don't think he will, I honestly don't think he will get sacked. If he does, it will be when we get knocked out of the Champions League. And particularly if we get knocked out by really badly, like as Del Boy said, finishing bottom of the group or whatnot.
It could very well happen indeed, because that means that we once again have to depend on qualifying through our league position and winning the title, and the whole cycle will start again. And once again, Stephen, we weren't saying he was the worst manager, but none of us were singing his praises because we all knew that it was a season long, it was a marathon and not a sprint. And I appreciate people coming on with different opinions, but obviously the facts are that we bottled it. Now, obviously, I don't need to ask you, Darren, what the turning point was, because I think you might have an idea of that. And I want to piggyback off what Warren was saying about how the season has been in many ways fake. I think Matt Odom, the Southern Gooner, pretty much referred to some of our wins as fool's gold. And you also made a brilliant statement, especially when we beat Bournemouth with that last-minute goal from Reece Nelson, the same Reece Nelson who is holding the club to ransom by rejecting 2 deals and waiting for a third. As Kyle and Del have said, it's time to say goodbye and thanks for the memories, mate. Good luck on your journey elsewhere. And wins like that may be good for winning over the fans, but as you've said, you can't keep doing that all the time, and sooner or later we get found out, as we did against Southampton. And you do not in any way allow yourself to fall 2-0 down to a team like Bournemouth, who were in a relegation struggle, who are now safe from relegation, and then hail that as a win, which is the stuff of champions, like the Aston Villa win at Villa Park, where we scored that fortunate goal from Jorginho and then rounded it off with an empty netter from Gabriel Martinelli. Against Southampton, those chickens came to roost. So surely there needs to be that level of introspection among the players and the manager after those lucky wins. And they would have had the sense to say, you know what, we can't do that. We can't keep depending on luck and saying we, the best teams make our own luck and we deserve our luck. But do you see that seriousness in that team? I mean, Warren says there is no seriousness in that team, and maybe that's down to the manager. But surely a manager of experience and quality will look at those performances and say that isn't good enough. I'd like to know what your take on that is, please.
Yeah, I think the culture at the whole club is wrong. It's too soft. Everything's soft. We're the big babies of the Premier League. We can't cope with pressure. Del Boy was asked when it went wrong, and he quite rightly said Xhaka played up at 2-0 away at Anfield, wound them up, and then they got a goal back before half-time. We come away from Anfield with a 2-2 draw, which I didn't think, a too bad result, because Anfield is very hard to go to. But the next game is where I think it went wrong, West Ham for me. If we'd have won that game in Southampton, and if we'd have kept the win at Liverpool, obviously. But I do think the culture is all wrong. And some of these fans that have just been coming on here, putting these comments about, you weren't saying he was the worst manager. And that's a brilliant point, Manny, you made there about we weren't saying he was the worst manager then, but we weren't saying he was going to win the league either. We all knew the train was going to come off the tracks, and it has come off the tracks. And one of the reasons it's come off the tracks is because Arteta has been softening up, cuddling up to people like Rob Holding, saying, "Oh, isn't he good? He's great to have around the club and all this." You're a loser, Arteta, stone cold loser. Because if you were serious, mate, you'd have a proper, ready-made replacement to come in for Saliba. Someone like a Lewis Dunk, a big lump who can defend properly, is not soft like Holding. He cost us the title, Holding. I'm telling you, I was saying it before it happened. You know, in them games, we smashed Crystal Palace at home and Leeds at home. And I saw it. I saw Aerosmith dance around him. And Rob Holding doesn't commit himself. He can't decision make. And if Arteta can't see that, he's never, ever going to be a successful football manager. Never in a million years. If Rob Holding's so good, why ain't Liverpool trying to buy him? Why ain't Man United, Man City trying to buy him? They're not, are they? Because he ain't no fucking good. He's not up to it. And if you're going in the Champions League, you've got to have 3 or 4 good central defenders. Because if people start getting injured, you've got to have ready-made replacements. Yeah, we ain't got it. Now, going back to these fans saying we're on an upward trajectory and all this and accusing us of being negative and all this. Look, right, if we should never have left Highbury if we wanted to be average and not compete. We should have stayed at Highbury, carried on paying the wages for players. We could have remained, we still would have competed for Champions Leagues and FA Cups and Cups if we'd have stayed at Highbury, right? But if you want the big stadium, if you want the big money and get greedy as a football ownership, you've got to put the money in to get the players in, right? And not have fools in your squad. And we've got loads of fools. We've got Eddie Nketiah. We've got Holding. This new bloke, Kiwior, he's the Polish Rob Holding, from what I've seen. He's timid. There's nothing of him. The ball come across in Sporting Lisbon. He had an opportunity to mark stamp on that game. He had an opportunity at Sporting Lisbon away to say, right, I'm in the team now. Ball's coming across. That's mine. Head out. No, he ducked like a coward. And then the other week, we see it again, tying up his shoelaces when a ball comes across with Brighton. And everyone just goes, yeah, but it's all right, give him a chance and all this. And, you know, and this is it. See, all these fans that jumped on the Emirates bandwagon that took the place of everyone that was in place at Highbury, because the ones from Highbury, a percentage of them clearly didn't fancy the Emirates. I'm not having a go at them for that. That was their choice. But they thought, we're staying away. Now, all the ones that have replaced them fans haven't got a clue about Arsenal's history, haven't got a clue about what we want to achieve. They just want to go there, and they've turned up at the Emirates, looked around at a big stadium, and they can't believe their luck. And as time's gone on over the seasons, all of a sudden, they're getting a sense of, well, this belongs to us now, actually. And you old lot, nah, you're miserable. You're not a real fan and all this, you know. And it's just ridiculous how the whole thing from top to bottom now is rotten. Now, I'd like to say to the Cronkies, look down, Mr. Kroenke, look at your board, look at your Edu, the man who buys the players, and look at your manager and the players and sort it all out. But are they really that interested? Because after all, it seems to me we're just part of their property sporting franchise. You know, they're across the pond and they don't come to any of the games. the sporting interests they've got in their home country are more important than us. We're just a nice little extra money maker, much like a landlord will have a property portfolio and just count his cash or her cash, week in, week out, and that's what they're doing. So everyone's got to go. It's got to be the Cronkies, and the only way we're going to do it is by going to the games and not acting over the top with the team. Actually give them a bit of healthy criticism without being nasty and completely vile. And I'm not saying jump on the pitch or any for stupidity like that, but what I'm saying is let's not cheer for them. Let's just stand there and watch. And if they don't perform, let's boo. Let's boo them off the ground, boo them out the ground. And let's not turn up. Let's not buy tickets to the games. Let's not buy merchandise. That's the only way we're going to try and get rid of them. But the difficulty we've got is they've brainwashed so many people that go in that ground and around the world to buy all this merch. No doubt people buy it from all over the world and probably can't even afford it, some of them, but they'll go and still buy it. And, that's it. We're in a very, very hard position as proper fans. We just got to stick with it and all keep supporting each other and believe and hope something is going to change.
Well, sadly, as with many things, it's the hope that kills you more than anything else. And I love how you spoke about how we need to just stand there and watch or stay there and boo. Tell that to those hypocrites who walked out of the Emirates when we went 2-0 down to Brighton and didn't even have the courtesy to stay around and, watch the team till the end. Well, they probably missed out on the third goal from Estupinian, I think it was. But still, you don't just walk out like that.
No.
You don't puff your chest out during the good times and then walk away with your tail between your legs when things aren't going well. Let me also welcome Brandon and Lee to the panel. Thank you both for joining in, gentlemen. We will definitely bring you on. But Central, let me ask you this question, son. What do you think was the turning point in our season, and which was that moment when you realised that it was all starting to go haywire?
It has to be Liverpool, man. I think, I think that was a chance to go. I think it's Liverpool. I always go for West Ham, but I think Liverpool was the start of our downfall in our season. I know it's difficult to get a result at Anfield. It's been 11 years since we won there, but I think once Firmino scored that equalizer, I think this is the start of Arsenal's downfall. And we capitulated ever since. It's just real. Yeah, it's just. I'm trying to get my words out, but it's real. April. It's like April was shut down. We're okay in March. April was shut down. May was completely shut down. It's just and people that was let's go back to last week, man. They're hypocrites. Walking out. I thought this is your manager. I thought you'll trust the process. Now you're walking away before the game come to an end. It's just these fans, man. Not all, but some. They're just hypocrites. Make up your mind. So you basically like Arteta, but we lose them to Brighton and left. It's what the hell? Get behind your team. I'm sick of this whole get behind the team. I thought you have to get behind the team, but all of a sudden you're leaving the pitch. What? That's not. I thought you're Arteta in. I thought this man exactly what he needs. He doesn't know what he needs. Our defense is don't get me wrong about our defense. It's not perfect. I think we're missing Saliba. I think when Saliba got hurt, I think that was that was kind of the final nail, our chance to win the title, because Saliba is kind of he's kind of the steel in our defense. Don't get me wrong with Gabriel. Gabriel's fine. He's missing his partner Saliba. Kivio is cannot hack it, man. Don't get me wrong. I think the games against Chelsea and Newcastle, he was fine. He was decent. But people need to stop gassing him up like he's the second coming Maldini. Really? Maldini? Like,
Okay, Central. Listen, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Warren has to leave right now. So,
oh, yeah.
Warren, if you're still there, oh, he's just gone, I'm afraid. But if anyway, by the way, welcome to Matt. Thank you very much for joining in. I'm really sorry I couldn't shout out Warren, but while he was there, I couldn't let him shout himself out. But do please subscribe to his channel, Warren's Team Talk. He also does a segment on the paranormal with Diesel Arsenal every week during the middle of the week. Always a pleasure to listen to him. And his his Soccer Saturday shows, of course, like he had today, and I'm sure he will have the following week, are going to be really good fun. Always make sure you check them out. And he does some streams as well, which really are thought-provoking. Central, back to you. I'm sorry for having to interrupt you there.
Oh, that's okay, mate. Yeah. This is like next season. This is a boiling point for Arteta, man. Like he said we're gonna win that Champions League in 3 years, and we're gonna qualify for next season. After his 3 attempts, we failed. Finished 8th, and 5th. I told you we don't win it. Adios, muchachos. And take your fan base with you, man. It's like it's killing this club, man. It's eating this club alive. It's been. I hate to say they are parasites. Slagging off fans because we want to win trophies. It's Arsenal. It's the biggest club in the country. It's not like Barnsley or Plymouth Argyle. It's the 3rd biggest club in the country. Like we're acting like a small club. We got a small club mentality. Like the players, like not all, but some. Like I don't. It's like Xhaka's leaving. Thank God. I think it's 7 years too late. I don't want to talk about Declan Rice. That's another story for another time. It's like, I think it's just like this is a rough patch. For maybe after the Chelsea and Newcastle game, maybe I go into this. Maybe we can, this title races in this league. It's a bit. It's kind of like on Euros race. What's that on our racing? It's kind of intriguing. It's you don't know what this is. You don't know what the end is going to be. The end game. But the Brighton game, that was the final nail of the coffin, man. It's like, can't wait for the season to end, to be honest, man. 1 week to go, 1 fucking week, and then they're gonna. I guarantee 100% they're gonna release the new kit. I heard rumors they're gonna put like the symbols, because they put like the what's called the like the total like putting like the streak of the Invincibles, and that's like what? It's like that's kind of panderism. It's like get over the Invincibles, man. It's 20 years ago. Get over it. It's 20 years ago. Stop talking. They're living in. This is the problem. This club's living in the past. Stop going about, and the fan base is living in the past about Issues gold. It's like, who cares? It's 20 years ago. Get over it. Stop living in the past. You don't see that. It's like the FA about living in the past about the World Cup in '66. That's not. I don't want to talk about that, but stop living in the past. Stop living in the past. Focus on right now. We've been shit for 20 fucking years. We missed out for the last 17 years, going on 18 years, because, look, Chelsea, get with the times, before the whole stuff with, the events in Ukraine, Man City's getting with the times, Man United also kind of get with the times before Fergie retired. It's just like other clubs are getting with the times. They know. It's trophies. Trophies is trophies. What, like, second place is still not good enough. It's like this club should never be challenging or qualifying for the Champions League. We should be winning trophies. With 13 league titles. If we get our act together, we might be on 18 league titles, or maybe 19 or 20. No, because these this club is going backwards and backwards and backwards. Like, it's like living off that gold trophy. That was 20. Who cares? You know, it's a gold trophy. Who cares? Well, so what? We're the only club with a gold trophy. That was 20 years ago. Get over it. You don't see Man City with a trophy with the 100 in the middle of that of the Premier League trophy. You don't see the 100 title on it. You know, they focus on what's happened next, not like living off something from 2018. You know, that's in the past. Focus on winning more and more. Let's win another one. Who knows? You know, it's just like I'm gonna to end this rant for now. Like, it's just like we need to like stop. You know, I think this is like going back. Yeah, I think like it's just I'm kind of contradicting, but it's kind of like the Liverpool game. You know, that was the end. It's like it's the end of the title race. You know, we don't know. I can't looking forward for next season, man. I'm trying to end it, man. I can't looking forward. Is anyone looking forward for the next season? No. It's like I'm moving on, man. I'm stumbling. Otherwise, it's gonna be a long rant. Trying to make him out rants 3 minutes tops.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. I mean, like you said what you wanted to say, and it's not easy to get everything out without getting tongue-tied. It happens to me a lot too. And I want to big up Jaminho for his comments. He said that his turning point was when we lost to Sean Dyche at Everton. Dyche, who had come in to replace the sacked Frank Lampard, and then put it on a typical tactical masterclass to, defeat Arteta at Goodison Park. And if we couldn't beat an Everton team that was rooted almost to the bottom of the table, and then we weren't able to beat Brentford and City, I mean, that was certainly the start of things going horribly for us. And then, of course, we got another lifeline, and we mucked that up too. And now, according to Jaminho, if we lose to Wolves and City win their remaining games, we finished 13 points behind Manchester City, a 21-point spin in the space of a month and a half. Matt Odom will know that 21 is a winning number, blackjack. Of course, you don't need to be an American to know that, and not all Americans gamble anyway. Brandon, you spent your time on the football terrace, and now you're here to say what you want to say. Let it rip, son.
Where do we start, boys? Fucking disgrace. Disgrace. That performance today was a disgrace from top to bottom. From the moment the team lineups came out, the manager. Why are you leaving your only left back on the bench to play Kivior at left back? Why are you playing Thomas Partey as an inverted right back? Experimenting in a game, against a team that are fighting for their lives with the home crowd advantage, and you choosing to experiment with the team when there is still the slimmest, and I mean slimmest, we all know that we weren't winning the league, but the point is there was still the slimmest of chances that if we won today and Manchester City slipped up, it was still mathematically possible. But instead, we went into that game, we decided to fuck about with the team again. And congratulations, Nottingham Forest, because they deserved to win the game. They bullied us all over the pitch. That was an embarrassment by the players again today. Yet again. And what can I say? They're weak. They're feeble. They're bottle jobs. They're pussies. Can you remember me saying that a few months back, boys? Getting laughed at? Yeah.
You weren't laughed at. You were shouted down, but continue.
Looks like I'm right again, though. Funny that, isn't it? And I know Matt will feel the same, and you boys will feel the same, and I'm pretty damn certain that Lee will feel the same. This is 2 seasons running now that we have been called out, and we've ended up being right. Maybe the rest of the fan base should take note with their loser mentality. And yes, I am calling you out, Egal, because once again, me and you having a disagreement on the football terrace because of your loser mentality. I want to be the best. I want to reach the peak, which right now is Manchester City. And we ain't doing that with losers in the fan base like you, bro. Making excuses over and over and over and over again. The reality is, Mikel Arteta will not ever be good enough to win a major honour at Arsenal. Yeah, and then I got told, oh yeah, but he won the FA Cup. How many of these players are still here now playing week in, week out for Arsenal that won that FA Cup? 2. This is his players, and he's won nothing. Nothing. 8 points clear, 8 games to go, playing 1 game a week. And do you know what's happened? We've took 9 points out of a possible 24 from our last 8 games. We've conceded 16 goals. Disgraceful. And you know how the saying goes, in order to improve, you have to, number 1, accept where you are. Number 2, be critical. And only then you can go on and improve. However, we have a fan base that is unwilling to be critical and to accept a reality. We are part of the minority, so we'll bring it to them. And here it is. Number 1, Liverpool, if you remember rightly, did exactly the same as what we've just done this season with Brendan Rodgers. They should have won the Premier League. They didn't win the Premier League. They finished second. Guess what? They recognised that the manager wasn't good enough and that they needed a manager who has won stuff and has a more of a winning mentality in order to go on and make that next step. We need to do the same thing. Well done, Mikel Arteta, for getting us in this position after 3.5 years and spending £500 million. But you will never be good enough. Move him on, out the door. Job done. Secondly, we get told all the time, in order to attract the best players, you need Champions League football. That's what we get told, yeah? We have Champions League football now. So I'm expecting Arsenal to go out and buy the best players this summer. And we need at least 4. Everybody online going, oh, Declan Rice. Like he's going to be our fucking saviour. Go and get your IQ checked. Yeah, because I can tell you right now, it's not very high. If you think Declan Rice coming in this summer is going to be our saviour, because he's not. We need 4 top-class players. And we need, next season, to compete in all competitions, because since Mikel Arteta has been our manager, that has been disgraceful. The fact that we cannot compete in more than 1 competition at a time is a joke. Every single season. Let's throw this competition away. Let's throw this competition away. Bigger fish to fry. Then what happens? 8 points clear, 8 games to go. And now, as Jaminho said, it's looking ever so likely that we will end up finishing 13 more points behind City, because I have no confidence in this team to go and win that last game at against Wolves. No confidence at all. We see it today. They're on the beach. They're on the beach. And I posed this question to a gal, right? And I'm going to pose this question to the rest of you. We want to be the best. And in order to be the best, you have to learn from the best. If this was the other way around, yeah, and we was in the same position that Manchester City was at the beginning of today, and Manchester City were 4 points behind us, however, they needed to win today to keep any slim hope alive of winning the league. Otherwise, we have to go to, say, Forest, and if we beat Forest, we win the league. Do you think Manchester City would have dropped a performance like that? No fucking chance in hell. If there was any little sliver of hope within them players, Manchester City players' minds, they would have gone there and won today and kept the pressure on. We didn't. We folded. And we bring it up time and time again. The league wasn't lost today. The league wasn't lost last week against Brighton. The league was ultimately lost against Southampton, West Ham, and Liverpool. And if you go by them 3 games alone, who cost us in that game? The manager. What more can I say? We have no leaders in this team. No real leaders. Everybody wants to, Odegaard. Let's get a sock out for Odegaard. Odegaard cost us the game again today. Yes, Odegaard scored 15 goals this season, but he is not a fucking leader. Granit Xhaka,
I think that's really
not a
unfair.
leader.
I can't just stand there and just let that
He's
go.
not a leader, bro. He's not a leader. There's a difference, yeah? Leading by example is probably what Odegaard has done this season in terms of his performance on the pitch. But having a proper leader, you're old enough, right? Yeah, to know.
Yeah.
Tony Adams, Patrick Vieira, let's just say them two in particular, right? They weren't just leaders in terms of what they did on the pitch. They properly led. I mean, like, if you're not on it, they will grab you by the scruff of your neck and say, you best get on it. Odegaard ain't that type of person. Aubameyang, right, is another example, right, of Arsenal having the Arsenal captaincy and leading by example. He got given the captaincy by the fact that he was leading by example in terms of the goals that he was scoring on the pitch. And he was, at the time, our best player. Odegaard's the same thing. We have no real proper leaders like a Vieira, like a Tony Adams. You see it at Manchester City, right? They can give the captain armband to Gundogan, De Bruyne, any one of them players, right? Because they've got that little bit extra about them. Whereas as Odegaard, for me, he's soft. Especially
He's signing shirts. He's signing shirts for other players.
Yeah, especially when it comes to when it really, really matters. And this is the problem, right? And I mean, we're severely lacking elite mentality for me. We really are. You know, the team turn up when the pressure's off. And people say to me, well, I was told on the stream today, yeah, but the pressure was off today. No, it weren't. No, it weren't. The pressure wasn't off today. You know, you have to win. And look, I'm going to point out what I think needs to happen in order for us to become the best. Number one, Gabriel Jesus is not good enough to lead the line for Arsenal. He doesn't score enough goals. It's as simple as that. He has played 31 games in all competitions this season and he's scored 10 goals. That is not good enough. Not good enough to be the guy to lead the line. We need a goal
support striker.
We need a proper striker who will score goals. And do you know what? One player who would be perfect for this Arsenal team, it's never, ever going to happen in a million years, right? But one player that would be perfect for this Arsenal team and the way we play, Harry Kane. Because of the way that he creates, the way that he holds it the ball, and because of the amount of goals that he scores. That is the type of player that we should be striving for if we want to be the best, right? I'm not saying go out and get Kane because we know that's never going to happen. But that's the type of player that we need to be looking at. Our midfield as well, right? It's obvious that Arsenal are going to make some recruitment in the midfield in the summer, and rightly so as well, because our midfield is feeble. It is a shambles at times. And Thomas Partey, I'd be looking to, obviously keep him, but look to replace him long term because he don't look like the same player anymore. He really, really don't. We're severely lacking physicality. And then defensively.
Don't forget Jorginho. His contract's over next season. We need to replace him too.
Yeah, 100%. Get him replaced. The guy should never been here in the first place. Let's be completely honest. And defensively, like the stats speak for itself. In the last 8 games, we've conceded 16 goals. That is fucking unacceptable for a team that is fighting for a title. Unacceptable. So there's major surgery that needs to be done at Arsenal. And I'm worried, boys, because at the moment, we can't even maintain the level playing 1 game a week. We've got to play Champions League next season. And it's looking like we're going to be in pot 3. And if we're in pot 3, we're going to have a tough group. So what? And at the end of the day, right, the reality of it is Mikel Arteta will be here next season. I don't think he deserves to be here next season because he's had ample enough time to get this right. He's spent ample amount of money to get this right. However, he will be here next season. And, For me, he has to win a major honour at Arsenal next season, whether that
I
be
agree.
the Champions League or the Premier League. If he doesn't, if we get into the first 10 games of the season and we don't look like we're anywhere near challenging for the Premier League, sack him, get rid,
Agree.
move
Agree.
on.
And listen, Brandon, I'm gonna have to cut you short. I'm sorry about that, but I want to get Matt in because he has to leave very shortly. I think his mobile phone's on, so there's an echo going on. But Matt, if you can hear me, brother, it's wonderful to have you on, and we are going to come back to you. For crying out loud, it would be better if you were on your PC, I think. But you've been speaking a great deal about things like Fool's Gold and how the victories over Bournemouth.
Can y'all hear me okay? Is
we
it
can
bad?
hear you.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you. But the problem is, I'm worried about the echo that's coming from your from your phone. I can hear my voice on playback.
Let me.
But then,
Let me. I got a few seconds here. Hold on. I got a few minutes before I have to leave. I can.
okay, so yeah, we're going to wait for him to come back. He'll have a say. And Lee, I'm really sorry, but I will get you one. I promise you. And
No worries, mate.
Yeah, and just going through a few more comments. We've had Statman trying to put a positive on it, but again, Stephen, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but your Liverpool team were actually winning silverware in between your last time, the last time you won a title before 2020. You've got that winning mentality, and now Matt, I want to make sure you have your say, and then you leave. You've been saying a lot of prophecies over here about, fool's gold and social promotion. Of course, in the UK, we call that jobs for the boys, and it's sort of pretty much, sets itself really. The chickens have come home to roost. And we've been speaking about turning points, where things went wrong, and what could happen next season. The floor's all yours for the next few minutes before you have to leave. Let it rip. We love hearing what you have to say.
All right. First off, Brandon, good to see you, my man. Hey, I miss Warren. Darren, it's always good to see you. Monty, it's always good to see you as well. Central, good to see you. And the gentleman that hadn't seen you before, but good to see you all. Look, today was a masterpiece in failure. We just watched a team that literally handed the title to a team that did not even have to play. And as Emilio stated, 13 points. We were 8 points clear at one point. This is what I was hammering on with Lee. I did watch along with Lee today. And what I hammered home, 8 points clear. And we are looking at a team that hadn't even had to play today and win the title. And people are going to run around spinning this. Oh, well, y'all losers, somebody in Lee's chat said, oh, well, y'all had 80 points. You don't get 80 points, man, just goofing off. And it's just like the excuses, Monty, that I've seen the last 2 weeks. The excuses. And it's so funny. It's so funny. And Brandon would appreciate this. When Tottenham was balling the league, what were they saying? It was laughing. It was memes all over the place. It was have a good time. Let's all have a laugh at Tottenham. Let's go, But then when the shoe is on the other foot, oh, well, we fought the good fight. We battled it out. The men are warriors. We're getting dogs in the club. We've become a veterinarian. Arsenal is running a veterinary. We got dogs. We talking about fish. We talking about everything except winning titles this year.
The only dog we should be getting is an attack dog for the players when they put in poor performances like this.
Exactly, to bite them on the ass. And then you sit here and you watch this today. I'm not going to do a fan cam with Lee today because I was on the show with him. But if I had a fan cam, Tyler, it would be Arsenal's in the doghouse because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, man, because we have completely failed this season. Failed beyond measure. The only other football team that's failed as bad as us is Bayern Munich. And I guarantee you they will make wholesale changes by the end of next week. But Arsenal, nope. We're going to roll out the new kit next week. We're going to make sure that it's on all the social media platforms. We're going to start talking about the preseason tour over here in the United States. They're going to go ahead and say renew your season tickets. They're going to have the media puppets come out and they're going to start spinning it. Oh well, this was a good year. There's a lot of other teams that wish they were in second place. We're gonna start hearing that over and over. But in reality, the reality of this whole thing is that we have failed when we were in front for 93% of the year. 248 days at the top, and it's taken City only a few weeks to come in and get the top. They've only spent a few hours at the top of the table, and now they're the champions. If you cannot see something is wrong in that, and as Brandon stated, we have too many passengers on the bus. We've got too much dead wood. We are 2 teams away from even competing. And when I say that, I mean that in the most sincerest form. We've got dead wood that needs to go, and we've got players that need to be on the bench that's starting. And then we've got to go by world-class players. So explain to me, where is this hope for next year? Because the only thing I see from sitting over here that's going to happen is we're going to go into the Champions League next year, get put out, back in the Europa League. These so-called world-class players or quote-unquote players that we're going to be buying are going to be saying, well, I came to be on a Champions League team. Because next year we're not getting back in the Champions League, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going back after this year. Not with the team we've got now. Not with the regime. Not with the manager that we've got right now. And that's the reality of the situation. People need to wake up and smell the coffee. Because we are miles away from where we need to be. And today's performance against a team that all they needed was just something to get them over the line. I mean, this is relegation fodder. Anybody find it ironic that we have struggled with 2 teams that were relegation fodder in the last month? 2 teams. If you look at it on paper, we're supposed to be beating these teams. But what do Arsenal do? Arsenal shows up. And just like I told Ola and Lee on the broadcast today, that what you saw today is the real Arsenal that we should have been seeing all year long. That team, as Darren stated it over and over and over, we had a good fixture run in, and we were able to pile up points, and so it masked how bad we really were. And then now that the paper and the cracks have started to show, what you see now, the facade is dropped. It's like I told somebody in the chat, Scooby-Doo mask is off. We all see who it is. It's the meddling kids. And here we are. Arsenal has shown up and showed us who they really are. We are frauds. We are frauds this season. We are the biggest fraud. This is the biggest failure on any level I have seen in sporting history in a long time. I'm a New England Patriots fan, so I used to laugh at the Falcons all the time, 28-3. I can't laugh at anybody else. I know how they feel now because we completely blew it. We had a EPL title it was all in our hands. And guess what? It turned into pixie dust. Absolutely fraud.
Absolutely.
We are frauds. Gentlemen, I will be listening to you all in my car. I've got to go to my men's game. You can check me out, Southern Gooner, here on YouTube. Brandon, Darren, Warren. I'm getting the gang together at the end of the year, and we're gonna have Amani. You coming in too? We're gonna have a massive powwow on my channel about the failure and the foolishness of this football club. It is absolutely unacceptable, and it is time that people start calling this crap out. 4 years is far too many for a team like Arsenal. They have to continue to keep putting up with this crap over and over again. When are people going to get tired of being laughed at and scoffed at? That stuff is normal for Tottenham. They're used to it. They've been dealing with it all their life. Us, we knocked down a stadium. They said we're knocking down Highbury to go compete with the likes of Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Juventus, Inter Milan, all the European giants. But it looks like from where I'm sitting at, we knocked down a stadium to complete with the likes of Dagenham Red, Boreham Wood, Luton, who's probably gonna kick our ass next year if they could come up, and Queens Park Rangers. That's the level we're competing on. We are laughing stocks, gentlemen. We are laughing stocks of Europe. People are going to be sent back tonight, man, and they're going to be cooking up some great memes. We're going to get some world-class memes in the next 4 days. So brace yourselves. Brace yourselves.
Yep, I think it's fair to say that we've gone to the dogs, and our only hope is that maybe the new dog that's coming will have enough Scooby snacks to maybe help save the day. Matt, good to see you.
You know what I said about this dog? I think it was either Darren or Warren. We were talking this morning, and it might have been Warren. And I said, we need to go buy another dog and name him Nothing. And then he'll have win nothing. It's going to be good to see you all.
Nothing. Yeah, always, Matt. Take care of yourself, brother. And I will
See
look
you,
to
mate.
join you on
Nice
that
one.
powwow. No need for any smoke signals from you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Lee, Mr. Meadows, good to have you on, sir. I'm really
It's
sorry
good
that
to
you
be
had to
here.
wait. Really sorry that you had to wait to have your say. I did actually see that you had a live going on. I think it might have been a watch along. I'm not too sure, but I'm really glad you're here now. We all are. Please have your say. Fire right away. We're all ears.
It's really good to speak to all you. By the way, I've been waiting to come on for a little bit, and it's good to see you all. Do you know I came on to today thinking like, at least I want to see a bit of pride in the badge. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a performance. I wanted to see a response from what happened last week, and unfortunately, we went out with a bit of a whimper, and for all of you guys who know me and know my channel, you'll probably know me as being the positive Pete of the world in trying to put a positive spin on things. I'm not necessarily feeling that way this evening. I'm feeling disappointed. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling that it was an opportunity today to at least be proud of ourselves, and at least, you know, yeah, admittedly, and don't get me wrong, gentlemen, that the league title and everything was long gone. I'm not as deluded as you may think I am to think otherwise, but it's like I at the very least wanted to see us turn up and give City something to do for tomorrow. But I'm very much at a loss of going into today. With very much seeing like Thomas Partey at the right back position, almost reversing the role of Zinchenko, and I feel a little bit for Kivior, a guy that has only featured about 4 or 5 times for the club, very much come in from last chance saloon and very much thrown to the wolves a little bit, but still I feel very disappointed. I feel angry about us not even showing any fight this evening. I'm very confused, and there may be a reason for it. Like Kieran Tierney, I would have thought would have been an easy selection today. Surely would have been. Maybe I hear Arteta talking about a lot of injury doubts and stuff. Maybe that's the case, but I don't want to be one that's looking for excuses or reasons why we've come across today as, like, you know, we've had so many decent moments over the season, but then coming to the moments that, you know, you want that season defining moments, and then you fall apart. And that very much happened, like, probably how many weeks ago was it? 3-4 weeks ago, Anfield. And there's one moment in particular that comes into my mind where it all went particularly wrong, and it's that moment when it was Xhaka and Trent Alexander-Arnold had that sort of face-off, which changed the momentum of the game at Anfield, which very much changed how the game went. And unfortunately, as it all came to pass, it was one that we couldn't hold on to. And then, unfortunately, Bobby Firmino came up with the goal, which ultimately started perhaps the progression of poor results. So I would say 2 points dropped at Anfield. The disappointing result against West Ham. Southampton 3-3 draw against the side that ultimately went down last week. It's very disappointing. It's very upsetting to see, especially for a younger generation who hasn't seen us pick up a league title. For us being, as a lot of you guys have already said, 8 points clear. Literally, probably about a month ago, for that to capitulate is very difficult to comprehend and understand. But for us to respond to it, I don't think many of us say back at the start of this when we started off this season would have expected us to be leading the Premier League for such a long time. And I know a lot of you are going to say to me, well, we should have seen it over the line. And yeah, you're probably right. I totally will agree with that. But I'm kind of hopeful. Maybe it's me being deluded or whatever I am. I don't know. You can tell me yourselves, guys. But I'm kind of hopeful that when it comes to transfer window and people coming into the squad thinking like we have Champions League to play into next season. And listen, I'm not even thinking in the likes of that we are going to get to them final stages because I don't think we're that close yet. But I'm kind of hoping for a bit of progression and hoping to see where we failed at this stage. I'm hoping to see it over the line, and I think it's really bad. Before I hand it over to one of you guys, I want to give City a bit of credit because, and you might not like it, and this is where this is going to be quite fun, but for City to come back at us from such a position, fair play to them. They've shown what it takes to have that elite mentality you guys spoke about. They've got that absolute elite player in Erling Haaland has seen them over the line, and fair play to them. I want to congratulate them. I want to congratulate Nottingham Forest for staying up, by the way, because I think that's important to give them a little bit of credit. Again, Arsenal fans might not like it, but I want to say it how I see it. Fair play to them. They put up a hell of a performance tonight, and they kept us quiet. They didn't. Arsenal didn't play anywhere near the levels that we would have expected as Arsenal fans. And the reason I went live today is because I was so angry and upset that I couldn't just sit back and say nothing. So that's how I'm feeling about things. So let me throw it back to you guys.
Yeah, well, Lee, let me just say right now, I know you call yourself deluded, but unlike a lot of other deluded people, you've been willing to accept that our performance was not good enough. And I get what you say about how City deserve credit, because in as much as they've been poor this season, for them to come back the way they did, winning games as if they're a machine, slapping us 7-2 on aggregate, I mean, they showed that they are a much more serious team than us right now. When it comes to challenging for major honours, they are still on for a treble, although I will be supporting Inter Milan in the Champions League final. And through gritted teeth, I will be hoping that United knock them off their perch at Wembley, because I don't think I could stand the prospect of seeing them, lorded over everyone else if they win the treble. And I think a lot of Manchester United fans will agree with me. Mr. B, good to have you on. And first of all, well done to Brentford for completely wiping the floor with Spurs today. I mean, as you can see, none of us are in any real position to make fun of Tottenham right now, given how we've bottled everything. But it looks as though Spurs could be out of contention for a place in Europe altogether. And that could mean huge changes for them. Brentford are still going strong, still in with a slight chance of maybe getting into the Conference League. What did you think of your game briefly, and what did you think of our game, if you got a chance to see it?
Well, I did see your game. Another bad one for you, I'm afraid. But But no, I'll quickly talk about my one against Spurs. Very happy with all that. I mean, at half time, didn't look too great. 1-0 down with that Kane goal, head of a goal, free kick. But but after that, in the second half, we were brilliant. You know, we were awesome, and totally took them apart in the end. You know, I don't know what happened. I mean, we were a totally different team in the second half. You know, we looked a bit. I don't know what it was in the first half. I mean, defensively, of course, we were sound again most of the game. But I don't know. We just didn't seem we lacked something up front. You know, of course, we don't have Tony. We all know what happened there with him. But unfortunately, he's going to be missing. And I thought we're going to have trouble there. We won't be able to, you know, get anyone to score. But how wrong was I? You know, we got Mbomo. He's quality, that guy. You know, a quality player. And quite a few others there, actually. Visser finished his goal well. So, you know, we have got talent there. Okay, it's not probably Tony is our best player, but at the end of the day, we have got something there, and we may need replacements eventually. But for the time being, it's looking quite good. But anyway, shall I go on about your game? I know you probably don't want to hear any more about it, but it wasn't great, was it? I mean, for a start, I don't know what the hell Arteta was up to, playing all different players out of their positions. You know, it just looked wrong. Was it Partey in its right back? Xhaka left back. Who else was there? What other out positions? I don't know. Kirill was out of position, I suppose. It just looks strange. I don't know what the hell he's playing at. Is he trying to be like Pep? As far as I know, I would say he's a Pep pretender, a fraud, if you like. He hasn't got a clue. He looks totally clueless, really, most of the time, doesn't he? What he's going to do. And to be honest, I think it just looks really bad for you until you get rid of him. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I mean, Forest deserved that in the end. I thought, you know, they wanted it more. They harried more. Of course, they are fighting against relegation, and you know, they probably deserved that result at the end of the day. And you know, Arsenal look so, I don't know, tame, and you know, just succumbed again to things like that. But anyway, I'll stop talking for the time being. But yeah, thanks for this, Manny, letting me on again. Anyway, and
Yeah, listen, it's good to have you on again. I'm really glad to have you speaking. And obviously, this is going to be the time when we will start wrapping it up, because I definitely don't want the stream to go on for about 2 hours. And I think the last question is, of course, we can talk till the cows come home about what will happen next season. We can hope and pray that things go so badly that Arteta might end up getting sacked. But final question is, we still have the small matter of a home game against Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are also safe. And you know, there is some talk about how it's going to be a party atmosphere with with several of these deluded fans showing up to thank the team for a great season. Such a shame that those idiots couldn't stay till the end when we were having our asses handed to us by the Seagulls. So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Sullivan, if I may. What do you think will happen on our final game of the season, and what would be your quick score prediction for that game?
Well, you're probably right. Everybody would probably celebrate second, wouldn't they? Be losing, getting in the Champions League. That's a success to them.
I don't want to get you started on the parade, by the way.
No, I won't. Yeah, prediction for the game. I could probably see us winning it by 3 or 4-0, I reckon. The players will probably turn up, and because everyone will be cheering them on, and they'll feel like they've won a trophy, coming fourth, second, getting in the top 4. So they'll feel like they win a trophy. The pressure will be off, I reckon we'll win. Wolves are safe, so they won't have anything to play for. I can see us winning that game 3 or 4-0. Yeah. So, and I'm looking forward to. I'm just dreaming here of fixtures for next season already. I'm dreaming we got Liverpool away, Bournemouth at home, City away, Forest at home, West Ham away, Chelsea at home, and we get about 7 points out of those 6 games. And immediately that puts Arteta under pressure, and we're about mid-table. We need him to be about mid-table, lose a few, get some nasty fixtures early doors. Proper, none of this fake nonsense where there's a World Cup and all the other players from the other clubs are saving themselves from injury. There's going to be none of that this year. Trust me, right? This season's been a freak season of Arteta getting second. Don't be under any illusion that he's made any progress or anything like that, because I'm telling you now, 1-0 away to Nottingham Forest, who have survived relegation by this much, 3-3 at home to Southampton when your goalkeeper, who's just been given a new contract, kicks the ball to a striker when you're in the middle of a title race. That is not progress in any way, shape, or form.
The joke. Yeah.
Not by all means, not by any means, not by any means. So, Central, what do you think is going to happen for our last game? I know you said we have one more week. Do you see a final win like last season when we thrashed Everton 5-1? Or maybe if we're going on a continued losing run, do you see a shock happening, perhaps?
No, I don't think we'll probably. Like maybe a win, but like in our final game against Wolves, put the kids out. Just put the youth out. Like, yeah, nothing much to talk about. It's like, I don't think we'll probably get a win. I don't know. I don't really care at this point. Wolves have survived. Like, we're gonna celebrate winning the silver medal for coming seconds. Like what's that all about? But anyway, yeah, it'd be like, here's the prediction of next week. Producing our new kits as usual, and like if we lose, let's say we lost to Wolves, it'd be the same as the Brighton game, walking out, and I'm not gonna go into that. I just did my run on it like earlier, but I'm not gonna repeat myself again.
Well, thanks very much indeed, Central. I think, you pretty much summed it up quite succinctly. Lee, I don't know if you've got a ticket to go to the last home game of the season, but I'm sure at least you will be planning on watching that. Do you predict a win, or will our miserable run of form continue?
Do you know what? As much as I love to be a positive beat about the whole thing, I wouldn't be surprised to see a miserable draw, to just see the season conclude. And do you know that there's a point that I want to say? I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the younger kids coming in, because everything is done now. It won't make any iota of a difference. Perhaps it'll be a goodbye to Granit Xhaka for 7 years of getting lots of yellow cards, and perhaps having a year of doing a half decent job about the whole thing. I've never been a fan since pretty much day one, in all fairness. But do you know what? Very much like said before, I almost can't wait for us to dust it all off, get next weekend out the way, and then look upon what might be, and then looking at transfer window and seeing and this is probably for another stream, in all fairness to you, my friend, but I would hope for a lot of movement out. I would hope for an extremely big window coming up, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, because Edu's got his flaws, as we a lot of us would have probably discussed in previous times. But do you know what? As to answer your question, I'll say 2-2 draw, and then they can enjoy their little walk off the field. And well done, everybody. Good job.
I suppose I can argue with that, and that really would be, a rather depressing bookend to the season. At least when we played Everton last season, we still had a chance of making top four, only for Spurs to completely steamroll their opponents that day and put an end to that dream. Mr. B, obviously Brentford do still have something to fight for, and we don't. So how do you think things are going to go for you? How do you think things are going to go for us? I'll give you about 2 minutes to wrap it up before we start shouting everyone out.
Oh, 2 minutes. I better be quick then. Right. Well, basically, for us, I'm hoping we're just a point behind. We're still going for Europe, of course. So we're a point behind, I believe, Brighton and Villa and all that. We was happy, obviously, that Liverpool drew with Villa today. You know, still giving us a chance there. We're not far behind, so. Hopefully they'll slip up in their last matches, Villa and Brighton and whatever. And then if we can beat City, which I'm a bit more confident of now after that result today. But of course it's City and we can't take it for granted. So it's going to be tough. But if we can get a win there, you know, who knows? We might have Europa Conference. But getting back to your game, well, I think, the pressure's off, isn't it? It's well and truly off, and I'm sure you'll turn up and actually win that game when it doesn't matter. Against Wolves, probably at least 2 or 3-0, I would say. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's still a shit show for you lot. I really feel sorry for you all, for all the Arsenal fans, the true ones anyway, the real ones here. Not these false ones, little idiots that are, you know, who don't care, who were born, you know, recently and don't know nothing about the history or anything of Arsenal. And, you know, the trophies they've won in the past, the honours, like they know nothing. But for the real ones, I feel really sorry for you, and I really hope that they can get rid of Arteta. You can do your voting with your feet and not go or not buy the merch or anything. And hopefully that'll get this clown out and these owners who don't care either out of your club.
Couldn't agree more. The fish rots from the head down, you chop off the head. Well, it's time to start wrapping things up, and I am going to put you all on the spotlight so that you can shout out your channels. And so in the spirit of the last being first and the first being last, Mr. B, you were the last one to come in, and you'll be the first one to say goodbye. Do please tell us about yourself and where we can find you.
Right, okay, Manny. Basically, well, I'm obviously on Insta, Bees Fan Forever there, if you want to follow me. I'm also doing setting up my own channel, which is actually starting this Tuesday. And I'll put a link in Insta and in other forms like Twitter and stuff like that, maybe Facebook. Things like that. If anyone wants to come in to join me there on my new channel, and talk about the bees, and I'm going to devote at least the first section of that to Brentford to talk about, you know, review our season and see how we've been doing and so forth, and how well it's gone and whatever. So if anyone wants to come on there, then obviously the second section I'll be talking about other teams and other things to do with football, other, you know, talking points. So anyone wants to join me on there, I'll put the link in there on Monday, and feel free to join me there. Thanks for that, Manny, anyway.
Well, thank you for coming, as always. Mr. Meadows from Gooner Gathering. Oops, my bad. Sorry, wrong button. Now here you are, back where you should be. Do please tell us where we can find you, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Manny. Yeah, you can find me at Goonerly Mead. You can find my channel at Gooner Gathering. We are relatively new channel. We are a little bit different in terms of everyone else's channel. We try to keep it a little bit PG, mainly because of my little girl who I'm keeping an eye on in the other room. But we try and keep a positive spin on things, as difficult as it may be sometimes. But I've really enjoyed just coming on and just saying hello to everybody. what a shame we're ending the season on a bit of a whimper. But pleasure to be with you on your stream tonight. So cheers.
Pleasure to have you, sir, and we hope to see you again soon. Central, one of our regulars as always. I'm happy to have you on, saying what you want to say, and as long as it's from the heart, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Tell us where we can find you and what you got coming up.
Oh yeah, you can follow me at Central Man Network on YouTube, and I'm on. This is a goal. My goal is trying to get to 1K subs before April the following year. I'm gonna do one plug. The start of June. It's the return of the football transfer news show. Having done up for almost a year, because June is the appropriate time for transfers in football. So that will be somewhere about 3rd of June or 4th. It's on the first week of June. So that'll be like a week after the season ends. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, and saving probably the best for last, Mr. Sullivan, one of our senior-most members, one of our regulars. Always good to have you on. Thank you very much indeed for being here from the beginning until the end. Do please tell us where we can find you and how we can keep in touch with you, sir. You're muted.
Oh, mute.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you, Darren Sullivan 49 on Insta. Not really got a lot going on at the moment, but other than to say boo and Arteta out.
Yeah,
I concur with that. Yeah.
Plenty more fish in the sea. All we can do is try and hope, but again, it is the hope that kills us all. And as always, thank you to everyone for coming in. I've just gone through as many of the chats as I possibly could. I do apologize for not being able to read every one of them, but I want to thank all of you who commented. You're the ones who truly make this stream what it is, make the channel what it is. And for people like myself and Darren, everyone else, it's always a privilege to be a part of it. I always say it's Del Boy Gunner TV for a reason, but we're here continuing this. And remember, we're the real ones here. You cannot serve us crap and call it chicken curry. And on that, I will end it. And as Del Boy would say, thank you all very much for joining in. Take care, each and every one of you. God bless you all, and have yourselves a good night.
Take care, everyone. Bye. Bye.
Henry, what a goal!